being unintentional in your life is something that you cannot afford to do. I think a lot of people, when they think about the terms of you only live once or try and live life to the fullest, it brings a lot of anxiety because you feel like every single move you make has to be some grand thing or else you're wasting your life away. And that's not the case. However, you can't afford to be unintentional with the decisions that you make in your life. It's just not possible if you want to have a good one. There are very few people who can get away with that. I think that everyone who comes on this planet has a purpose and a mission that should be fulfilled in their lifetime. Unfortunately, not a lot of people get to actually accomplish those things. And I think that is one of the most tragic parts of life. As we round out the year, I've been having a lot of self-reflection and a lot of introspection, asking myself a lot of tough questions about who I want to be, where I want to be in the future, how I want to get there, just kind of regrouping and looking at the entire year that I've had so far and reflecting on it, reflecting on the things that I did well, commending myself for the improvements that I made, and looking at the things that I didn't do well, that I didn't improve on, the places that I made very minimal progress in. As the year winds down, and this is the last video of 2024 that I'm posting, I want you guys to look through your year. However 2024 went for you, whether it was really great or really poor, I want you to review it and ask yourself, what was the main feeling that you felt like you had throughout the year? 2024 was a great year for me. 2024 was a very pivotal and eye-opening year for me, and especially started speeding up in the awakenings that I had after August, after the month or during the month of August. Overall, my message is very simple. You do not have the luxury of being unintentional with your life. If you want something that is good, even if you're an average person, which most people are, and you just want a life of peace and calm and happiness, that is something that is not going to come to you without intention. The power of intention cannot be understated. Let me actually bring this book that I've been reading. I've not finished it. I'm halfway through it. I think one of the mistakes that a lot of people who are in their 20s make and in their teenage years make is the false hope in thinking that they will always have time on their side. And that's not true. And this year proved it more than I've ever experienced in my life. You know, when I was younger, I would hear things from other people who are older talking about how quickly time kind of speeds up as you're growing older. Because when you're younger, everything is so new to you. You've not experienced so much. You've not experienced going to high school or driving a car for the first time or going to college. So these things are so new and exciting. And they're such big pivotal markers in your changing as you're growing up. And as you get older, you've experienced it. You've already had alcohol before. You've already had that type of food before. You've already been out of the country. These things start becoming something that we take for granted. This year, I think everyone can agree that this year flew by. It felt like in the blink of an eye, we were completely done. And I genuinely don't know where the year went. But I think it's so important to take a step back and self-reflect and see where you can improve in your mentality and how you approach your life. This is the book that I was talking about. Look at all those. Well, I didn't put as many markers. I'm not like fully done, but there were so many eye-opening points in the book that I definitely did a lot of tabbing. Although I'm not fully done with this book, there's something that I find to be a common thread with a lot of self-help and self-development books and teachings just in general. It's number one, the importance of your mental state. and the importance of thought, because thought leads to reality, as well as the importance of execution. If you guys watched my last video on how to actually achieve the goals that you set out, it is so important to have a good foundation of self-belief, to have the vision, to create a plan, and then to execute with your self-belief. That is the only way to create something and bring it into reality. When we look around in our life and we see planes and see cars and see all these amazing inventions that we now take for granted and don't even realize the extent at the insanity that it's in our everyday world, we don't even realize, and we can't even acknowledge it because it's become so commonplace. There was someone in the past who thought, you know what? There has to be a better way of getting around. There needs to be a better mode of getting around. And there were people who looked at that person and said, you're freaking insane. There's no way that's a thing. This is the best thing that we have. What are you talking about? No. And that person had the vision, they had the plan, and they executed and brought their ideas into reality, into fruition. That is something that cannot be understated. This is something that I even say to myself anytime I go through life, and I've been going through it these past few weeks. Anytime you go through life and you feel like, what am I even doing? Why do I even, what is the point of having this hope? What is the point when this is my life and you don't like what your life looks like and you're trying desperately, holding on to hope? I need you to remember that there is a plane in the sky right now, that there is a car right now, there's Wi-Fi, there's internet access. These things did not come by accident. And you want to know what's the craziest part? Is that in that same guy who thought, you know what, there has to be a better way to get around than just a horse and a carriage. Let me think, and they're thinking of what to do and they create a car. Do you know that there's probably been thousands of other people who thought of that same idea, but never brought it into fruition because they lacked the self-belief and they lacked the intentionality and they lacked the ability to follow through and execute. Do you know how many of those people there are and how many of them there are today who are thinking of an amazing invention or idea or something that can greatly impact the lives of millions, but choose not to do it because they feel like they don't have what it takes or they're not capable of even creating something like that? This video is specifically towards people who are, whatever age you are, but specifically for people who are in their 20s and their teen years. You cannot afford to be unintentional with your life. I'm not trying to create any anxiety because I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety recently about this and about my own mortality, but it's not something that you should be scared of. It's something that you should wholeheartedly embrace because it's only going to lead you to newer, better, bigger heights. When it comes to choosing your partner, choosing who you're going to spend your life with, when it comes to choosing where you're going to stay, the company you keep, choosing the career path that you're pursuing, is it something that's fulfilling you? Is it something that is adding to your soul, to your human soul, or is it something that detracts from it? Is it something that breaks it down? Is it something that you dread and anxiety just rises up in your body every time you think about having to go to work? What are you eating? What are you consuming on a daily basis on social media? What are you watching? There's so many mistakes that I've made in my early 20s. I'm still in my early 20s, but there's so many mistakes that I even made, in college, in my teenage years, because you have to make mistakes and stumble sometimes. But a lot of times there are mistakes that you don't need to make in life, that you can see other people and learn from them. And I think that's where I am at now, where a lot of the mistakes that I made in the past were absolutely easily avoidable. It was all because I had a lack of direction. And I'm not saying that you need to know exactly how your life is going to pan out or exactly what you're going to do and what career you need to go in and know exactly what's going to fulfill you. No, that's not the case. But I think a lot of people don't even spend the time to reflect and to kind of sit with themselves and understand, like, what exactly am I being fueled by? What fuels me? What is my purpose here? Like, my heart really breaks to think about all the souls that are lost to the mundanity of life. It can be so soul crushing to have a lack of direction, to have a lack of intentionality. These are not the things that you should play with. Your career, your finances, the people you surround yourself with, the person you decide to marry or have children with. Do not think that your efforts are in vain. Every time you take the step to drink more water or exercise, even for 15 minutes, and you can only do it for 15 minutes today, or you can only go to the gym today for 30 minutes. Every time you take a step to improve your life, your efforts are not in vain. Every time you try your hardest and you stay consistent, it is not in vain, and there will be a payoff in the future. There is no use rushing things in life that are meant to come with a bit of experience behind it. Do you know what I'm saying? Regardless of wherever you are at, you have so much time in your life to make a pivotal change and a big life shift and pivot. When I think of my life, even just a year ago, from 2023, I have severely improved the state of my life by making little actions every single day and being consistent and just showing up at whatever effort and whatever level I can get to, just showing up. For example, one of the things that I wanted to start doing was to exercise every single day because, shocker, surprise, like contrary to popular belief, you should be exercising every single day. There was a time when I didn't think that I would be able to even go to the gym 3 times a week, let alone exercise every single day. And I've been doing it. Even when I don't feel like it. Your emotion cannot be your dictator. It's your emotions and your feelings are a tool to they're like a map, right? To kind of give you direction to maybe what you need to improve on, to kind of gauge your internal well-being, but they are not fact. And your emotions should not be your sole leader in deciding and dictating everything that you do with your life. Why are we following our emotions as if they are God and as if they are completely right and justified always? Let go of the need to always soothe your ego and to always soothe your feelings and however you're feeling. It's not always correct and it's always right. Even if you don't feel like doing something, when you know it's going to be exponentially helpful in your life, you need to do it. One thing that's really stuck with me and kind of clicked with me a while back was understanding that little everyday habits create the biggest and most dramatic changes in your life. I'm going to be making a glow up video very soon, but when you guys see where I started, you will be so shocked when it comes to something even just as frivolous, which I don't think it's frivolous. I think beauty is a weapon, as beauty and your external look. When you see where I started, you will be shook. And the insane, like, pivotal change that I had, even in something as simple as like physical appearance, was not something that was done overnight. It takes daily habits and consistency, even if it means that you can only show up to the gym for 10 minutes that day. That is going to result in way more of a dramatic shift in your life than going super hard for 3 hours at the gym on a random Saturday and then doing that again a week later and not following it up with proper diet and exercise and sleep. You only get one life. Do people not know this? Are people not aware of this? Stop getting stuck in the mundanity and the noise that people want you to focus on when you really should be focusing on your own life. You really should be focused on your own life. You are not a cog in a machine. You have a purpose, and you have something to do on this earth that is meant to fulfill your soul and accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish, whatever personal goals they may be. As 2025 enters, do not waste this time. Do not waste the time that you have on this earth. Every day you should be doing something that will get you even closer and closer to the goal that you're dreaming of, and to the change that you hope to see in yourself. Every single day, you are worth taking that time out for. That is your thing. That is something that you get to do for yourself. That is something that you get to invest for yourself. Don't waste it. See you guys in 2025. Bye.